In 1990, I was a Boulder High Panther, having already won a national title and seemingly on the way to manifesting my childhood dream of becoming an Olympian someday. My mother, dying of cancer, looked at me and said, "Melody, your running is the bright spot in the sea of misery, which is our family." At that moment, my stomach twisted in knots. The innocence of my running that I had created to build that dream and to bring myself to the point of seeing myself actually fill with the real possibility that it was maybe going to happen. Everyone in the running mecca of Boulder around me was telling me, yeah, you're an elite runner. But that had changed in that moment when my mother told me that, because I said, not on my watch. And I actually believed that if I ran hard enough with as pure an intention as possible, running up Boulder Canyon to 4 Mile Canyon, where I grew up in my beloved home, that maybe God would show good favor on my family, and I'd come home and find out that the house would not be gone to the bank because my father's alcoholism drove his business into ruin. And I would run until my legs were burning and my lungs were burning, hoping that if I ran hard enough, with a pure enough intention, that maybe it actually would reverse my mother's cancer and save her life. It was really, really hard. And I did not know how hard it was until I was 26. Fast forward, I had actually earned a contract with Nike, and I was living in Palo Alto, California. We're running on the farm team. And I was in a lot of pain. My body was screaming at me, and I didn't know how to listen. I didn't want to listen. I had been living and running by the adage that no pain, no gain, right? But here I was, ironically, I could not gain an inch. I could not run because of the pain. I was learning that if it's all pain, there is no gain. I talked to my coach because I couldn't participate in workouts. I had 1 year left on my 4-year contract with Nike. The Olympics were in 2000. This was the time to make it happen. And I wasn't able to sleep at night for the pain shooting through my hips and into my bunioned feet. My coach said, "Go see a surgeon." And I did, and he held my feet in his hands and said, "Oh, I'd love to crush the bones in your feet and put pins through them." That sounded like more of the same. It sounded like more hard. And at that point, even though my dream was still alive, my soul was aching for a different way of being. I was working in the Town Country Village shopping center across the street from Stanford at the Metro Sport running shop. And in walked a woman one day who looked like a female version of Dumbledore. She had long silver hair and a flowy gown. Her name was Sybil. And I was fascinated by her because I watched her from a distance pick every running shoe off the shelf and bend it and twist it and see if it was just right for her. She was so attentive to her details. And I helped her find a pair of shoes, and in the course of our interaction, I shared with her the pain I was having. And she said, with great curiosity, "I don't know, but I might be able to do something that'll help you with your pain today." I said, "I'll try anything." I laid on my back on a bench, took my shoes off at her command, and she knelt on the floor at my bare feet and touched them with the lightness of a feather. I was instantly in a deep state of relaxation, and I felt like my entire nervous system released years of trauma right there. I did indeed run that day without any pain. And I went to Huddart Park between Half Moon Bay and Palo Alto and ran that evening on these luscious trails in the forest, amazed at the two options I had been presented with for healing. And one was a barbaric surgery, and the other, I wasn't sure what it was, but I know that it had shifted my perception of myself and of what is possible. In subsequent meetings with Sybil, where she came to an empty room in the house where I lived and gave me cortical field re-education treatments, very much related to the Feldenkrais method, she'd say, "Melody, the easy way is hard enough." And I would wrestle with that and think about it, and it rocked my world because I didn't trust that the easy way could lead to success in anything. I went out that spring after walking only slowly back and forth on a sidewalk, present to my body, and ran a sub-16 fit 5K, just being present to myself. Today, this is the goal that I have for the youth that I teach, and believe that it is presence with ourselves which will bring us to presence with one another and help us sustain our dreams for a lifetime. Thank you.